Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to Beings Balanced. I'm JC, an intuitive health and mental mastery coach. And today I would like to touch on a subject that has been coming up for me a lot, and that is how to start recognizing and trusting your higher self, how to find it within you, and how to start utilizing that in your life planning. For me, when I was younger, I started in a place of almost pure living through your higher self. You haven't really taken on any beliefs from outside of what is you and what is the universe in general. I interacted with other beings. I was very much attuned with the part of myself that most people in the 3D would recognize as crazy. I remember I didn't even speak until I was told by my family that I was actually communicating to my older brother, and then he would let them know what it was that I was wanting or needing. So even though I don't remember, I was actually telepathic. I was extremely connected and grew up that way until I started reaching the older years of adolescence, which, for me, this would have been my true self, my inner voice. It would have been exactly who I was, and I just lived purely like that for many, many years. And it wasn't until I started receiving this feedback from my family of, oh, you're quiet, you don't talk, so you're quiet. And my aunt and uncle, I would always go over to their house, and they would be like, oh, are you gonna say anything today? Almost expected of me not to speak, and it kind of made me, I think, put a block over my own voice in a way, and that kind of was reinforced with certain times within my life. One in particular, I was over at my cousin's, and she was having a slumber party for one of her birthdays, and she was about to put in a video that I knew that her mother and my mother had said that we could not watch, we weren't allowed, we weren't old enough. And so she was about to put it in kind of sneakily, and I first tried to stop her, and she was calling me a buzzkill and stuff like that, like trying to get me to just join in with the group and just allow everyone to watch it. And when she wouldn't listen, I then went to her mother and kind of tattled on her, and she ended up getting the video taken away and getting in trouble. And then, of course, everyone kind of turned that on me and reinforced that not only do I have a soft voice, but when I do speak up against things that I believe should be heard, it gets met with animosity, and that same trend kind of continued. I would always see these things, and I didn't recognize it as being a ability or anything, but when I did voice it, I was, I think my siblings used to call me the Sphinx. They're like, you're always trying to act like you know everything about the world and all of this stuff. And it kind of put a air around that knowledge of, if I say these things, that must mean that I'm trying to be condescending to everyone else, and that I really don't know these things, and it's just a mask that I'm putting on myself, which wasn't the case at all, because I was just trying to speak my true self and what I was seeing, and what I wasn't aware at the time that everyone could not do this. Not that they don't have the ability, but that everyone was not tapped into this. And it just continued on into my other years, and I kind of went into a downward spiral for quite a few years, and kind of gave up on the idea that there was anything pure in the world. That is kind of when I really started waking up, because no matter how dark things got, there was always that inner self that's just this voice, this thing that won't go away, that is telling you that this idea is false and that there is positivity in the world, and to not stop fighting and to never give up on that, and to continue with your path. And there's a few methods that I used in particular to kind of get myself back on track, and I'm going to share those with you today, to where hopefully if you have gone through similar things, or if you're still going through certain things, that it may resonate and help you on your journey as well. One of those main things was, for me, I had a very strong connection with written words. So writing, journaling, that was one of the main things that I used in growing up to really reconnect myself with my inner self and to know that I was on the right path. And how I would do this is, instead of just writing things that happened to me that day, I would start to talk to myself, like have a conversation with myself in my book. I would be like, how did I do today? And then I would allow an answer to kind of come to me, and it would just kind of go on from there. The second thing that I did the most is, I took the journal conversation one step further, and I actually would have what I like to call interviewing myself. I would have the interviewer be the one asking the questions, and then I would reply back to myself, which I think in the 3D world they would crazy. But, having these inner dialogues, it came to a point where I could no longer internalize all the answers that were coming to me, and I needed a stronger feedback. It really deepened that connection with, I knew exactly where I stood, because if I truly believed something, I was able to articulate it so much better. And it really did help my inner power grow, my alignment grow. And from that point, I was able to recognize a lot more things that were reflected back to me. And that kind of leads me to the third thing that really, really helped me start trusting my inner self and forming that attachment and that relationship with it, is something that comes from an older mystic under the name of Florence Schullschen. And she has this method that she calls never missing a trick. And what that essentially means is that you're always on the lookout for what the universe is telling you, what's essentially the little messages that are hidden everywhere for you to find and to kind of resonate with you, and kind of use as a guidance system in a way of, I liked this response or I did not like this response, and kind of balance within yourself whether or not it was a correct move for you, and then you can move on from that point. I genuinely hope that these 3 tips have been able to help you find and cultivate a better relationship with your inner self. But that is all for now. And if you did find this helpful, please remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment, ask questions, whatever you may feel called to do. And thank you so much for watching. And as always, much love and abundance.